Ladies and gentlemen, today's subject is a subject that is something most people don't think about in family businesses. It applies outside as well, but my focus is on family businesses and the people who lead a family business. Because in every business, there is a, and the expression could be different. You can call him chairman, you can call him CEO, sorry, him or her. The bias is not as gender is not important. You can call him or her leader. You can call him or her boss. You can call him or her Baba, Mama. But I like this term king, because king encompasses everything. If you're a king of something, everything falls under your domain. If you're a queen, also the same thing. Everything falls under your domain. But again, because I don't feel like going back and forth between the genders, and even as far as I'm concerned, they're all the same in that aspect. I'm going to focus on the word king. Because in every family, you have a king. In the household, you have a king. Be it the husband or the mother, husband or the wife, it doesn't matter. There's a person who is the last word, and his or her word is what's the law and what everyone apply. He or she is the one people are willing to listen to, willing to adhere to, are afraid of sometimes, will go out of their way to protect, because he or she is the symbol of that family. If in the generational structure you have a king, and that's usually the entrepreneur, because he or she, again, him, in this case the king, is creating the environment, is creating the business, is creating the body that will eventually become a family business. As he or she brings in new family members into his or her business, it moves from an entrepreneurial business into a family business. Or it could start as a family business between siblings, between cousins, between husband and wife, whatever the case may be. You will have situations like that. But even in that situation, you still have a dominant person, and that person is the king. He might be a very consultative king, open to listening, which is actually a very good thing. He might be a very dictatorial king, not a very good thing. He might be a king who is blinded by his or her emotion and will just move based on that. Or he might be a very thoughtful king who sits back and thinks about everything way more than he should before taking any action. You have different types of characters in terms of this king. But at the end of the day, everyone knows he moves, we all move. He does, we all do. And that's the way it is. As you move to the second generation, from within them, they too will have a king. And that king will be someone either from the first generation that they all respect and care for, or from their generation who also stands out, maybe because of age, maybe because of experience, maybe because of knowledge, something. And they will all accept it because they've seen all the headaches and problems and situations that their parents have gone through and they are going through, and they end up acting as custodians for the business. And even as a custodian, I still need somebody to run the show. And we acquiesce and accept one of us is going to run the show. Be it the entrepreneur who started the business, be it the uncles who are running the business with the entrepreneur or something along those lines, or even within the generation, which is the second generation, who is somebody who is running the show as elder than us. All of us respect him or her more than anybody else. All right, that's fine. Then you come to the third and the fourth and the fifth. And in this generation, or generations, you no longer have a king. You have what's called an imposter king. This is a king who has become a king solely because everybody else died. And he or she was left. He or she does not know what it is to be a king. See, a king is not a person who growls at you, shouts at you, puts the fear of God in you. Those are given. He or she doesn't have to do that. The one who doesn't have it, he's the one who needs to tell you all the time, I'm the king. In his actions, in his words, in his statements. Look at me. I've done this. Reality is, if you've done it, people naturally will look at you. You don't have to open your mouth and say it. But because he knows, I shouldn't be here. This is not my place. By chance, by luck, by nature, whatever the reason is that this person is the king. He's not the king because of his merit. He's not the king because of his efforts. He's not the king because he's done something. He's the king because by luck or by age or by situation, he's gotten that place. And he knows deep in his heart, I'm not here because of me. I'm here because of a chance. Something happened. These are the ones who are afraid. And you can see it. And no family wants to be led by a person like this. Because everything that's being said outside, he immediately thinks they're talking about me. Every action he takes, he's worried, is this the right action? Are they going to criticize me? Am I doing the right thing? Not because it's the right thing to do for the business or for the family. Is it the right thing because I want to be popular? Because that's all the king, imposter king, is thinking of. I want to be popular. I want people to remember me. I want people to think good of me. I might be nasty. I might be bad. I might be, in my nature, a really horrible person. But I still want people to think of me as a good person. So I want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to do what's right. I want to do what's popular. I want to push an agenda that might not work for the family. It might not work for the business, might not work for the shareholders, might not work for any of the stakeholders. It might not work for anyone. But for me, and I will push it because I'm not a king, I'm an imposter king. And when you have that in any business, panic. And in a family business, panic even more. Because guess what? If you have an imposter king, I guarantee you, the crown prince is another imposter. And it takes a huge paradigm shift of somebody coming in and saying, stop. You need somebody who is accomplished, done, created, self-assured, is not self-absorbed, is not afraid of saying the truth, to come in and say, I'm taking over. Not because he or she wants to take over, but they need to break the cycle. Because the cycle is only going to become worse. Because the imposter king is going to give birth to an imposter king, is going to give birth to an imposter king, and so on. And that imposter king, the pyramid is going to be big as you go down towards the base. It's really going to become big as more and more imposter kings come, because they're all going to build a lie upon another lie. And no family business can afford this. It will not take very long before this family business collapses. If you are not willing to listen to what others are saying, there's a good chance you're an imposter king. If you believe your words are manna from heaven and that everything you say is pure good, because it's a delusional mindset, you are an imposter king. If you think that everybody's talking only about you and your actions, you're an imposter king. If you think, I will not have a successor, I'm going to talk about having success and talk about succession and all that, and I will never have a successor, or at least not while I'm alive, because I'm not going to train them, I'm not going to educate them, I'm not going to position them, I'm not going to do any of these things, because I don't want anyone to take my place. That's an imposter king. Because a king feels that he must control and have everything under his or her arm. They don't listen to their advisors. They don't listen to their management. They don't listen to the shareholders. They don't listen to their wives, their kids. They don't listen to that. And this is important because most likely the imposter king wants to inherit his child, the position, but yet doesn't listen to him or her. So what are you teaching the child? You too are going to be an imposter king because you have not won the merit to be there. And I'm not going to give you the merit to be in my position, because if you do that, you'll challenge me. And if you challenge me, my house is brittle. You'll break it. I don't want that. There's a story, and I'm going to tell you this. This is a historical story. I might get the characters a bit off. I'm not sure. And I might get some of the details off. But I want you to pay attention to the story overall, because this is the definition of a king and an imposter king. So the story goes that the first Umayyad Khalifa, Muawiyah, had a piece of land in Medina, and right next to him was another companion of the Prophet, actually a member of his family. I think his name was Zubair. And for whatever reason, the people of the household of Muawiyah's land decided to go into the land of Zubair and take over, and kicked everyone out of there and said, this is our land now. So Zubair writes to Muawiyah, not acknowledging him as the Khalifa of the Muslimin, which in Arabic would say Amir al-Mu'minin, which is basically means the Amir, the prince of the believers. So he sends him a letter saying, to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, that's his name. And he lists all the issues, and he was really nasty in his words. You did this, your people did this, and he signs off saying who he is. Now, Muawiyah gets the letter, and he asks his son, what should I do? And his son tells him, I will put for him an army, its head is in Medina, and its tail is in Damascus. Meaning, I'll crush him. So Muawiyah says, sit down. So he writes a letter to Zubair, tells him, من معاوية بن أمير المؤمنين معاوية ابن أبي سفيان إلى الزبير. In the content of the letter says, it was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. And as a compensation for you, here's your land back. Here's my land that was adjacent to yours as a compensation. And everybody who works within my land is now works for you. Take it. And so Zubayr writes back to Muawiyah, says to him, إلى أمير المؤمنين معاوية ibn Abi Sufyan. Now I acknowledge you as the prince of the believers. The story, the gist of the story. Muawiyah, being a real king, because his father was one of the head of Quraysh, and his mother was the daughter of another head of Quraysh. At that time, the strongest tribes in Mecca during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And so he grew up within the household of being of a king. And he learned what it meant to be a king and to understand how it is to be a king. A king is not a person who goes with his army just to beat you up. A king is a person who gives, is generous, forgives, even though they know you don't deserve to be forgiven, but they forgive you because they want to win you through that kindness. They want to win you through charity, through money. What do you want built? You want to build a new house? Here's a new house. I'll build it for you. Now you're no longer his enemy. He's no longer your enemy. You want, what you call it, you want to go travel to a certain place because your family is sick? I'll pay for you and your whole family to go. I win you over. I win you over with kind words. I sing praises about you. Not unjustified praises, but praises that deserve to be sung about a person. I win you over. That's what a real king does. He knows, I am who I am, and if you piss me off, you know what will happen to you. But that's the very last thing I will do. The first thing I will do is want to win you over with my good words and deeds, and then help you financially. Because now I've won you over. You're not going to fight me. I don't want to fight. A good king doesn't want to fight. A good king doesn't find arguments. A good king doesn't find reasons to create problems. A good king finds ways to negate and kill problems. And in fact, brings people closer to one another. Because the more you are sure of yourself, the less you have a reason to create issues. You don't need strife and problems in your kingdom. You're looking for harmony in your kingdom. How do you create harmony if you're attacking this person and hating this person and stealing from this person and shouting at that person? It doesn't work. So this is the difference between an imposter king and a king in a family. So when I am generous with my family members, even though I know this family member had said something bad about me, I will turn a blind eye and say, I forgive. Now, I know what you said about me. You know I know what you said about me. But publicly, I'm going to praise you because I don't want you to say that anymore. Now, unless you happen to be a real SOB, you will no longer say nasty things about the person who just praised you. It's understanding the difference between being a real king and a fake king. A fake king, also an imposter king, also has a complete different reality than everything that's happening around him or her. In their head, they can do no wrong, but yet they worry about how people are going to perceive them. They will say things they know are wrong, but they don't because they believe that it's right. They will still say it. There's only one time, and only one time, that an imposter king will not be an imposter king. And that time is when he or she is alone with themselves, reflecting upon what they've done. You don't need to tell them they're wrong. You don't need to tell them they've done bad. They know it. But if you repeat the narrative enough times, or should I say, when the imposter king repeats the narrative enough time, his perception becomes reality. And after a while, it becomes such a reality and so strong a pull that he cannot see what he did was wrong. And he will start telling you the story no longer from what actually happened, but from the narrative he started. And he will build on it again and again and again until the reality is wiped out in his head. And the story that he built is the story that is true in his head. He's done no wrong. He's been fair. He's cared for you. It's like I've taken the poker, I put it in the hot iron, in the fire. It's now red and hot, and I'm poking it into your eye, but yet I'm saving you. I'm doing you well. I care for you. I saved you from all your pain. In reality, I had no pain until you put the poker in my eye. But in your head, as an imposter king, you think you've done right. Kings don't do that. Kings feel for you before you feel it, because he or she does not want you to be unhappy. They want you to be well, in a well situation. The best example I can give you, by the way, of what a true king does is here in the UAE. The ruler of Dubai is an example of a true king. Not because I'm getting any favors. No. It's because of how he applies his generosity. And the theory is, and by the way, it starts in Dubai, and the rest of the, I'm very happy to say the rest of the Gulf is to apply the same mindset. And the theory is, I want you to come and build. I want you to come and do. I know who I am. I'm the king of the country. The Emirate of Dubai, I'm the king of the country. I don't need to prove anything to you. I don't need to harm you either. You come, build, enjoy, do whatever is required to make your life fulfilled. There are certain red lines, what you call it, don't cross, because they're mine. This is within my purview. But other than that, do, build, create. That's what a king does. A king says, I want you to benefit. I want you to enjoy. Again, certain red lines don't cross. There might be conditions, and usually kings are very clear in terms of what are the conditions that they don't want you to cross, because they're trying to say, this is within my purview. I will do that. I will handle that. You handle everything else. Go enjoy your life. Go do what you need to get done. And that's what a king does. An imposter king does the opposite. They don't want you to benefit. They don't want you to grow. They don't want anything to happen good for you. They want it all to happen towards them. The only person who matters and will ever matter, including their children, is them. And the only reason they include their children is because of that key word I just used, their. If it was not their children, they wouldn't care. So it's his wife, his son, his daughter, his business, his division. It's all to do, possessive, going back to that person. And if it was not any of those, he doesn't care. Because he's an imposter. He shouldn't be there. He should never have been there. If you come across them, and it really won't take you that long to figure this out, be cautious. Because you never know when that person will turn on you. It could be a day, it could be 20 years. That person will turn on you. Because you know his deep down secrets. Imposter kings hate people who know their secrets, because they're afraid one day they'll turn and state it and say, I knew this guy when he did that. A real king, on the other hand, is happy with it. He's okay with whoever knows his or her, what you call it, heritage, because at the end of the day, it's my heritage. I can't run away from it. Whatever happened, happened. And now I'm a better person, and I'm creating better things. And I'm comfortable with that. So if you come across imposter kings in a family business, do yourself a favor, run away, because you're not going to win. If, on the other hand, you come across a real, true king in a family business, hold on to this as much as you can, because he or she is going to make everybody's life better, because that's his goal. That's his drive. His drive is overall to make everyone better, not himself, not his possessions, not his small little world. At the end, the only thing I can request for you is to pay attention, because it's only then, when you're looking at all the signs, you will know quickly whether this is a person I want to work with and deal with, because he's a genuine king and knows how to be generous and knows how to be kind and knows how to be forgiving. And this is a key word, forgiving, because people are very, very petty when they're an imposter. An imposter king is, as I said, petty, small-minded, jealous, envious, hurtful, unkind, and is destructive if given a lot of power. Every empire you know of that collapsed was run by an imposter king who was petty. And every empire that flourished was run by a genuine king, because he found ways to bring people on board. At the end of the day, and I've repeated the third time, I know that, I want what's best for you. And the whole purpose of this program is to enlighten you about the things that you will encounter in a family business. A lot of things most people will not tell you about. A lot of things people will not show you and help you. I don't give you answers per se, necessarily, because every situation, because it has to do with humans, can be different. How you interact with it, it's not like I can go off the shelf, buy a box which has a way of fixing everything. I can't do that. But by making you aware of certain ideas and certain thoughts and certain things and certain behaviors and certain characteristics and certain ideas, you can then start saying, wait a second, I've heard this before, I've seen this before. Now, how do I react? That is up to you. And I hope that you react in a way that benefits you and helps you grow and become everything you want to be.